In the previous episode, I began my coastal passages from Richards Bay to Cape Town with a long 90-mile day sail to Durban. After 3 days there, another and suitably longer northeast weather window opened, perfect for the overnight 260-mile sail down the wild coast of the old Transkei into the Eastern Cape and my hometown of East London. There is no shelter along this coast, so it is essential to complete the trip before the next southwest buster arrives, which would create massive waves against the fast southwest flowing Mozambique current, which becomes the Agulhas current, and it is close to the coast most of the way. It's Tuesday the 19th. We're all leaving Durban to go to East London. This is comfortably numb in front of us, a South African boat being delivered to Knysna. And then here's the rest of the harbour. And behind me is Nick on Draak. Back in the background there you can see the marina and downtown Durban. And then bringing up the rear, Tin Lizzie. Steve will soon pass us. And behind us we already have Tin Lizzie catching us, got his main up already, and here comes Draak, he's got main up and jib out already. I put my main up. We are gonna go. And we're all off and sailing. It's a race. Not really. Here's comfortably numb, leading the way. Tin Lizzie will pass us all. He's got his main up to first reef. And bringing up the rear, but looking very handsome. Draak. Alright, so we are beating into what remains of the southwester that was blowing 30 to 40 last night, and our objective is to get far enough offshore to pick up the Mozambique current, which runs down this coast, eventually becomes the Agulhas current. And once we pick that up, we'll have 2 to 3 knots of current with us, which will help a lot. But to begin with, we have to beat against the remaining swell from the southwester last night, which is way down. I'm quite surprised. Maybe it's because we're still close to shore. But we're going to head on out here. The wind is going to go south, middle of the day, east in the afternoon. We'll tack, and hopefully by then we'll have picked up the current. And then it's going northeast by dinner time, sunset, and we will be off to the races. Alright, I've got an albatross visiting me. Look at that. I think it's a yellow nose. It's hard to be absolutely confident because I don't see it close enough, but the coloration and the location. Here it is sitting on the water. Just not close enough to see the yellow nose. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Cool. Don't expect to see an albatross this far north. There it goes. Yeah. It's one of the smaller albatrosses known as a mollywhawk. Very clear. The white tail and the black across the wings goes all the way across the body. Very clearly a mollywhawk. By late afternoon we were well offshore and had found the current as indicated by our speed of 9 knots. We have dolphins racing to join us. Here they are. I'm not going to go up front, it's a little rough. But we are racing down. We have the Mozambique current with us. We're doing 8 to 9 knots. But we're also doing 5 to 6 feet of water, which is just enough to attract these guys. There we go, it's a whole bunch. Wonderful, that's really nice. Add that to the albatross that came by 8 times altogether. Yes, there they are. It's been a good day and it's going to be a good night. Going really fast down towards East London. So one of the disadvantages of running down here along this coast in the current is that a lot of ships are doing the same. So here is a massive container ship called MSC Joanna, and he is passing awfully close, even though he's well aware that I'm here. We've talked on the radio. He's changed course to starboard. I've changed course to port. And man, is he close. Through the night, we were commonly doing over 10 knots. See top left of each of these images for the time of night. Waking every hour or two, seeing even 11 knots. Pretty amazing. Alright, it's Wednesday, the 20th of November. We just had a wild ride last night down the wild coast between Durban and East London. We are over halfway there, which is nice. With any luck, we'll get in before sunset. Right in front of me here is Comfortably Numb, a local delivery boat, and then in yellow is Tin Lizzie, my buddy boat, and the rest are all ships. A couple of issues with ships last night, but no big deal. All's well, and we are cruising. We're in the Mozambique current and doing 8, 9, sometimes 10 knots. It's Wednesday the 20th, and we recently had a squall, so I went down to Fourth Reef. Now it's cleared up a little bit, but it looks like we're going to have squalls all day, so I think I'm just going to stay with Fourth Reef as long as we can keep up decent speed, which we are doing. We're doing 8 to 10, which is more than enough. Here are some repairs and improvements to the boat. A quick repair of the tear near the Fourth Reef, all of which I have now reinforced even more. The bottom of an oil jug solved the leaking forward portside porthole for now. And I no longer stub my toes on the staysail deck block by highlighting it with a yellow tube over a bungee cord that stops it from rattling, and a pile of lines so that I always have to step over it all. Here is a view I have not shown before, the gap between the Dodger and Bimini, which is at a convenient height to stand and look forward, and from where most forward-looking video clips are taken. Here's our final setup for the run into East London. We're pretty much dead downwind now, and so quadruple reef main, small staysail, I call it a storm jib, out port, poled out to port, and the full jib in the background, exposed enough that it will keep full. Yeah, it's a sweet setup, very stable. And my albatross is back. Yes! Woo! Once again, I did not make it in before sunset. Indeed, I ran into a thunderstorm and used my umbrella to try to keep the navigation iPhone dry, still in place the next morning. We anchored in the dark before the low Buffalo River Bridge, now behind Drak, and to the right of the river mooring system the Buffalo River Yacht Club uses. It's Thursday morning, 21st of November, and I made it to East London, my hometown. Wow, it wasn't easy though. Coming in last night, yikes. Ran out of wind 25 miles out in the big swell. The tiller autopilot broke. So it was hand steering, thunderstorm, lightning, rain. Had to rig an umbrella to protect the iPhone from the water and work. And then the diesel low pressure oil alarm went off. Had to add some oil. And finally got in here at 10:30 at night and anchored in the river. The river I know very well because I used to fish here in this harbour when I was a kid. This is the dry dock here, and a couple of tugs tied up on the side here. Anyway, wonderful to be home, so to speak. Drak arrived in the early hours of the morning, but Nick was unwilling to join Christoph and me on an inland excursion because his mainsail had torn in half, being even older than mine. Yeah, we are driving to the Hogsback to go for a night, do a little hiking. There we have a spectacular thunderstorm, huge thunderstorm over the hills here. It's just gorgeous. Well, we came up to the Hogsback yesterday and we found online this absolutely lovely cottage. And what a great night's sleep here. My goodness. I was so exhausted from sailing and not sleeping that much on the boat. Here's the inside. We're at a place called the Edge Eco Resort. There's a half moon up there, which is lovely, neat tides. And this is a labyrinth. Wow, what a pretty spot. Very amazing. These tall pink orange flowers, red flowers are Watsonias. I'm not sure what the others are. Oh, there's a concrete path in the labyrinth. If you walk the whole labyrinth, it is 1.4 kilometers, almost a mile. So we're going to try to do that for breakfast. You see the hare? Oh, we just missed it. And then at the other side, there's the viewpoint out over the mountains. What a place. And then after the labyrinth, there's a little path here to a viewpoint. Wow, spectacular. And there's the top of the Hogsback behind there. This is all forestry land up on the top, plantations, but in the bottom here, this is a native forest. This is the way it's been for millennia. For millennia. Absolutely lovely. And we're actually going to do a hike through some of that later today. Here's my friend Christoph. He's doing all these trips with me, and we're buddy boating down the coast of South Africa. Wow, look at this. Whew. Oh my word. Oh, there's the road we came up in. Goodness me. Can hear, not fall off here, be a YouTube death. Wow, can hear the river cascading at the bottom. If I ever get there again, I will rent this cottage literally on the edge. Our hike was on a well-maintained trail, but we did not see any of the parrots. So we are hiking here through the native forest. This is indigenous forest that has never been logged. It's really nice. Just saw a Nilari, very special, colorful, large bird. And here are the three humps that give this place its name, the Hogsback. 1, 2, and 3, or maybe it's 1, 2, and 3. I'm not sure. Midway, there is the big tree, an ancient yellowwood. Gorgeous stream here. Just came in on this path. We just met a group of about 10 who are near the end of the Amatola 6-day hiking trail with huts. And yeah, it's gorgeous. There's Christoph. It's muddy because we had a massive thunderstorm last night. Here we have cicadas. Very high frequency, hurts your ears a little bit. These falls are called Madonna and Child. Quite magnificent, must be maybe at least 100, maybe 200 feet high. Really pretty. Nice to sit in the spray. This is the hike out from the valley and the waterfall. It's 1,000 feet up and whoosh, I'm out of shape. Steep steps is a bit much for me. Anyway, we'll get to the top eventually. Okay, here's one of the Hogsbacks, the others are along there. But we have an interesting activity here. This is a whole bunch of families. Their children are graduating, all sorts of different classes, and they are dressing the boys and the girls. The girls have the prettiest white dresses and the boys have bow ties and everything. These lilies in the foreground here are arum lilies, very common in South Africa. But in the background you can hear it is party time, Friday afternoon. Yes.
Back at the yacht club, a large group of cruisers, including a bunch of the World Ark boats that had finally caught up to us, were treated to a braai or South African barbecue. When I was a teenager growing up here, I crewed on racing dinghies like Fireballs from the East London Sailing Club at the harbour mouth. But these larger cabin boats and this club seemed out of reach to me. Now they were the friendliest bunch. I had found the local 2.5-mile long Grand Prix race circuit that I watched Formula One racing on as a kid in the 1960s and is now part of a regular road, but one can drive the entire track. So after doing a few laps alone, early Saturday morning, Christoph and Nick joined me for one, speeded up a bit, followed by visits to Nahoon Beach and the East London Museum.
So this is the East London Grand Prix circuit. This was a Formula One track in the 1960s and 70s. There's still some stands left, but most of the rest has been removed. But the road is open and you can drive it yourself. Here's the pit lane. And the pit lane, sorry, over there. This is the starting boxes here. And I have a little rental car. So, what else to do but drive the Formula One track? When in your life do you get a chance like this?
Okay, we're rolling up to our pole position, having won pole yesterday in the qualifying. And we have Christoph as the co-driver and we have Nick as the engineer. Ready? Go! Normally the Formula One cars would take this corner completely flat out, about 160 miles an hour or so, but we're going to be cautious here. We are driving on the wrong side of the road. There's a car coming the other way, but he's a Mercedes-Benz. It's fine, we beat him. Now we're coming down to a little bit of a drop here, and there's a sharp corner at the bottom, so we're going to be a little cautious. So now the cars, it's got a right turn down at the bottom here, do a couple of downshifts. Second gear, lights with cover on the corner, and we're out of here. This is the back straight. We're going to come up to the S's. The first corner coming up, we're going to take it a bit gentle here. There's no cars coming, so we can go down the side of the road. Okay, this is the S's. In second, they would be doing close to 90 miles an hour through here. We're doing 90 k's. Now it's flat out on the other back straight, no cars coming, good. This is a little uphill, so it's tough on the engine. And then there's a very sharp corner up here. We go down. This is really a hard corner. Then we are out, back onto the straight, and going to hit the finish line there. That's red line. Whoa, and I picked 5 instead of 4, sorry. And our time, easily beating my previous record. There we go, finish that.
We're at Nahoon Break and there's guys surfing, although that's a very small wave. Anyway, this is my old haunt, Nahoon Beach, where I used to hang out as a teenager all the time. There's a walk around the cliff here, and there's the beach. And over to the river mouth over there, Nahoon River mouth, that's where you used to sail Hobies out.
The museum is famous for having the original specimen of the coelacanth, and they have an excellent display about this discovery and the subsequent work on this remarkable living fossil ancestor of land vertebrates. Once again, after 3 days, we had another weather window to continue this coastal passage to Port Elizabeth, although the town itself has been renamed.